This is part 2 of Power, Influence, and Politics. Let's continue with our frames of reference. The last frame of reference in this model is the symbolic frame. This is supposed to be the highest form of frame development. Instead of looking at formal power and relying on politics, a symbolic leader looks at shared vision, culture, and values to work with an organization. We've had a lecture on this type of stuff, so I'm not going to spend any more time on this. Look at it at your leisure by pushing the pause button, because what I really want to go to next is the 5 sources of leader power. I'm asking you to write essay number 3 using this as one of the concepts of analysis. So let's go into each of these 5 sources. We've got reward, coercive, legitimate, expert, and referent power. Real quick overview, legitimate power is basically formal power, positional power. You have a right to set goals, you have a right to make the decisions and direct others in all the organization's activities. When your source is reward power, that means you control rewards, resources, things like pay, promotions, financial resources, physical resources. A third source is coercive, and this is your ability to threaten others. Relies on punishment, things like firing or demoting people, sometimes simple criticism. You can withdraw rewards that have already been given. Expert is another source of power. That's where your power base is based on your knowledge or a particular skill that you have. Superior knowledge, superior skills, superior experience. Others look up to you for that. And then a 5th source of power is what we call referent power or charismatic power. This is where the power comes from your own personalities. Others like you, they admire you, they want to be around you. You could have a base in any one or more of these sources of power. Many times a person is given legitimate power based on expert power through promotion, and that's been their reward. Many times a manager has referent power because people like him or her. It's rare that a leader has only one type of power. However, others may look at you as having particular power based on their relationship with you. I want to introduce another concept of power, and that is to divide power into 2 categories, position power and personal power. Under position power, you'll see legitimate, reward, coercive, but you'll also see the addition of information and ecological power. Information power is different from expert power. It is the control over information, the control over access to information, and the control over the distribution of information. Some people would put this under reward or resource power, but this is differentiated. Ecological power is the control over the physical environment, technology, the way that the workflow is designed. One can control and influence subtly in the ecological frame by rearranging the situation. Sometimes this is known as situational engineering. On the other side are the personal power sources, referent and expert. I introduced this to you so you know that there's an expanded view of ways of looking at power. For the essay, I'm only concerned about the 5 sources that we talked about, the original: reward, coercive, legitimate, expert, and referent. You know that power is the ability to influence. So let's talk about some influence tactics. First, we're going to start with honest or ethical influence tactics. Here's a list here: leading by example, rational persuasion, developing a network of resource persons, inspirational appeal, consultation, getting a reputation as subject matter experts. These are all honest ways in which to influence within an organization. On the other side, there are dishonest ways, more manipulative. Some of you are familiar with the term Machiavellianism. It comes from Machiavelli, who authored The Prince quite some time ago. I forget what century. Basically, it was a manual for using threat and punishment to govern. At the time it was written, this was considered leading edge management or leadership style. Let's go on to part 3.